All right, everybody, welcome back into Cherry Picking late night stream. We got Fruity joins. Oh, we even have the overlay today. I didn't even know that. Nice, Hunter. Does a nice touch.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, looks great. Big 11-game slate. Not as big as I think the last time you were on was for the Frozen Frenzy,
Yes.
I believe.
Pretty small. Yeah.
Pretty small. Or no, was it? Yeah, no, it was 16 games. 16 games.
I know.
But yeah, so good to have you back on, man. Missed you last week. Trying to run the ship by myself was a little different. Well, not a little different. It's just, especially like the 2 days that I did it were Monday and Wednesday, and it was like 3 games and like 6 games. So.
Oh yeah, those were the smaller. They've been alternating, like either Monday, Wednesday are the fat slates, or Tuesday, Thursday. It's like.
And then even like there's not a single NBA game today. So just
like 0 or like
no,
like 1 or 2.
0.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. They just did the NBA or the in season tournament, and I think this is like a day off, or I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm glad we have 11.
Oh, there's 15 games tomorrow in the NBA.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus Christ.
I'm glad
Dude,
we
both
have
these
11
schedules are horrible,
today.
man.
Oh my god, they're so. It's like I don't know if they do talk and we're like, let's just do the massive slates and we'll do no games. Like, what about the people who just watch NBA and just people who just watch NHL? Like, it's weird. So
yeah, definitely weird.
But it's because they're encouraging people to go vote. Is that true? Is it that time in the U.S. right now, or no?
I mean, I guess so.
Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not going to vote today.
There you go. Okay. But yeah, nice big slate today. 11 games. Fruity and I were talking before. I think we both really like this slate. There's definitely a lot of good spots here. I think there's some really good teams that haven't been playing as well, or just coming off some not as great losses that you're due for like some bounce back spots here for sure. Is kind of how I've seen a couple of these teams, and even some teams that I think have been kind of overperforming. Maybe like the Ducks, who could be due for a loss considering they've won 6 in a row. But
don't make me go put on my Ducks jersey for this whole stream.
I'm not sure. It's just like, hey, man, they're not going to win every single game for the rest of the year, especially now they play another.
Who knows?
They just played. So.
No, we're going to win, go on a 9-game win streak, and then we're going to lose to the Sharks on Sunday.
That sounds appropriate. That's why I was kind of like, I'll be honest. Well, most people already know if you saw me on Twitter. Like, I did sprinkle on the Sharks again today. I just have to keep betting them at this point. I have to be on the right side after I bet them those 2 games where they lost 10-1 and 10-2. Those were sharp.
Yeah.
But I kind of have to keep betting them at this point, considering the value on their plus money, if you want to call it that. Consider they're still the shittiest fucking team ever. But it would be great if they played the Oilers still with no wins and then beat them, because the Oilers are in pretty much just as much shit if you compare the two.
Yeah. The fact that there's a team in the NHL within 4 points of the Sharks is ridiculous. And the fact that it's McDavid and Draisaitl too is even more ridiculous. So
that's actually a good point. I didn't really think about it like that. That is funny. Yeah, those games yesterday were interesting. Great call on the OT. I mean, if you see Johnny going for an in-reg bet, it's usually a pretty good indication of that you should be betting overtime. So there's another one on the.
I don't know if you remember, I did that last year I did it the first game of the season for these 2 teams. So for the last almost 2 years, I bet every single time the Bolts and Leafs play each other, the OT bet. And it's like 6 for 8.
That's crazy.
Last year, I think they played 4 or 5 times, and it went to OT 3 of the times.
That's not
so, like, and then I took it the first game of the season, it went to OT. Took it this game, went to OT. So I'm just.
And the value on it is still so good at plus 310.
Yeah.
You had it, right?
The Johnny pitch, though, just made it better for me to tweet that out. I was going to do it anyway. I had already written it out, and I was like, all right, I got to clip this video and just include it in the sell job on Twitter.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's get into these games. The first game I have on my list here is the Sabres and the Hurricanes. So I think, has UPL been confirmed?
I believe both of them have.
I'm not on Roto, at least. I'm not seeing, or Roto, I'm still seeing UPL expected, but I would think, I don't think
I saw, you know that like lines guy on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about he had it earlier as
Okay.
confirmed, and he normally has all like the insider guys. So
Okay, yeah, I could see that, especially because Levi just played that big game against Toronto. He was coming off injury. I would be surprised to see him play back to back. And Luukkonen's been playing all right. Like, obviously that shutout against Colorado, and then a pretty solid game after that. Obviously not a great game on Saturday or Friday, whatever, when they played Philly, but still been playing pretty solid. So I love the Canes in this spot. Looking at this Sabres team, also with no Dylan Cousins, I think that definitely hurts them. I think he's obviously a big piece to this offense at this point. I just really like the Canes here. I think they obviously had a little bit of a scare against the Islanders on Saturday after going down 3-0, but then coming back and winning that game. I think that's like a huge momentum swing for this team. You know, you also have Svechnikov getting healthier back in this lineup, Aho as well. I saw Pesci. I don't know if he's necessarily in the lineup for sure, but I saw that it doesn't look like it. But
I think he's still out today.
Yeah, because he was practicing without the non-contact jersey today. That was the first time they were doing that. So probably be back relatively soon. And then Ranta's in nets for the Canes. Obviously, not the best goalie in the NHL, but I would consider him in UPL relatively even. I would give the edge probably to Ranta if you look at his NHL career experience. But I have the Canes in reg here. Before we go into it more, are you seeing it the same way or a little bit different?
Yeah, I have Canes minus 1.5. And then I have the money line in a parlay. But I see first of all at home the Canes play significantly better, both on offensive and defensive side. And I think that the Sabres shooting percentage has been just absolutely ridiculous to start the season. And the Canes also let up the least amount of shots in the league with like 26 or 25, their first. In shots against, and the Sabres team has not, besides one, I think the last game they had 40 something SOGs against the Leafs. That's also just against the fraudulent Leafs, but every game before that, half those games they didn't even hit 20 shots on net, and especially against this Canes team that lets up the least amount of shots in the league. Ranta is definitely iffy between the pipes. He's been pretty bad. I'm kind of scared for what happens with Anderson being out long term, but I definitely like the Canes in this situation. And then honestly, I would lean the over as well. Ranta's going to let in 2 or 3 kind of fluke shots, even if they only have 20 SOGs. And I definitely think the Canes are going to put up 4 or 5 on UPL. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
Canes would be a favorite for me.
Yeah, for sure. And you've seen this line move like a pretty decent amount since the Open too. And yeah, the Canes are just so much better at home than they are on the road. Like the record, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's less than 20 home losses I think since Rob Brindamore has been the head coach there, which is nuts. So yeah, really like the Hurricanes tonight in this spot. In terms of props, do you have anything in this one?
So I might still take it, but I really want to take either Skinner or Thompson under, with just the terrible amount of shots that this team has been putting up in general. But I will say, with Cousins out, Benson out, I mean, Cousins was out last game and Thompson put up 7, Tuck put up 5. Like everyone was filling in and just ripping puck. So it kind of scares me, but I'm going to end up probably locking in 1 or 2 unders on the Sabres end. And then one of my main props today is actually Aho over SOGs. So
yeah, he has really good numbers against the Sabres through his career. I was looking at his anytime goal prop. I have a same gamer of the Canes money line, Svechnikov over shots, and then Aho to score. Just like not like it's like less than half of a unit, but there's a boost on one of the books I was on, so thought I'd use it on that. And I think this is just totally like a Canes domination spot for them, because even if you look at that game against Toronto and the game before that, I think obviously they beat Toronto 6-4, but like they're still giving up a decent amount of offense. And I feel like this Carolina team, with their ability, how they can like just control the game completely, I think that's kind of a good way to go. If I had to ask Burns point, what do you think about that? Any thoughts?
Honestly, I would probably like points for anyone that's on that first power play, top two lines for on the Canes. I genuinely think they put 4 or 5 pucks in net tonight. So, I don't hate that at all for someone that is getting well over 20 minutes a night. So,
Yeah.
I don't know about shots from the point, as the Sabres weirdly block a lot of defensive shots. Um, I think that's just kind of the style of hockey they play in front of the net there, but um, I Kane's shots also just kind of scare me in general. Last year, I got screwed so many times because it's always someone different ripping the puck, or it's the whole team having two SOGs and no one hits their line. So, um, I don't know. Aho is pretty much the only one I'd be confident with.
Yeah, the one of the main reasons I kind of like um, Svechnikov is just looking at his attempts since he's been back. Like he had 7 in that first game, or that one game against San Jose that he played, and then the other 3 games he's been in, he had 3, 4, and then 7 against the Islanders again, and he didn't even hit it against the Islanders. He only finished with actually 2 on net. But I think like his role will just continue to increase. I think Brind'Amour's kind of been easing him in a little bit more because if you look at like his time in the ice, it's a lot lower than what like he's playing on that second line with
Yeah.
Tuvo on the other wing and Kotkaniemi in the middle. And Kotkaniemi's like he's had a ton of points this year, but I think he's more of like a distributor than anything. So Svech is over 2.5 at like -120. I think is at FanDuel. So I think that's probably the best price you can get there. So yeah, I'm on that, and then Canes and Reg, and I sprinkled Canes -1.5 as well. I did that with 2 games today where I bet them in Reg and just -1.5 just in case I get fucked on an empty netter or something like that, or like some
Yep.
bullshit at the end. Okay, let's go to the next game. Lightning. This fucking game, the Lightning and the Habs. Like this line is so weird, man. God, it's
So weird, dude.
-137. Like I get they played last night. And they have their cast of goalies that they have right now. Who's it supposed to be? Matt Tompkins, or is it something to be someone else?
Mm.
Yeah,
Tompkins is playing, I
I
believe,
think is
today.
going to be playing.
Yep.
-137 is weirdly low for a Lightning team that has dominated this team pretty well. The only thing I have written down here, like my leans I have are Habs, but I'm not going to play it, and I have the over as well, just because. I feel like Jake Allen's kind of been playing, like he's been playing really well, but he's due for like a stinker here. And then Tompkins was in that game where they played Columbus and lost. So that would be my 2 leans there. What do you like? Or do you have an actual play in this game, or are you kind of thinking the same way?
First leg of my
Oh,
Fruity
really?
Three is actually the over 6.5 in
Okay,
this
nice.
game. I think that the Bolts, the one thing they can do is score goals on pretty much any team. I mean, we saw yesterday they put up was it 4 in the first period? Was it 4-1
Yeah,
in the first
4-1,
period?
4-1.
Um, and obviously they only had 1 the rest of the game, but I mean, they're averaging like 3.7, 3.8 goals a game. Allen has had some pretty good games to start the season, and then the last 2, I mean, he's let in 3, I think, in both his last appearances on like mid-30s shots. I think the Bolts kind of easily put up that amount, score 3 or 4. Um, I also think the Habs win this game, so I mean, I would lean Habs money line. Um, I have it as 4-3 Habs win. It could see it like 5-4, even 5-3. So the fact of the matter is I really think this game soars over tonight with like 8 goals.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you think the Habs are gonna win, then you got to think this is
Eh,
gonna go over.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of that makes sense.
But with that being said, the Habs could easily score 3 on Tompkins, and the Bolts could put up 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the over in a safer spot, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I definitely like that idea. I think that's a good way to look at this game. Love the Habs look from Vital Props. Supreme Fatty said Caulfield anytime goal scorer. Like, yeah, probably. If you think this is gonna be an over game, like he's obviously their best goal scorer right now. Monahan's been also pretty good this year. He's almost like a point per game right now. I think he has 10 points in 11 games. Playing on
he's
that
just
second
he's literally
line.
Draisaitl this year, dude. He's a power play merchant.
Dude,
His what 4 power play goals already?
he just sits in front of the net too. He sits in front of the net, and then he plays on that second line, and he plays on the first penalty kill. Plays on the second line with Tanner Pearson and Brendan Gallagher, just like an old gritty fucking line. I kind of love it. But yeah, I think my favorite play in this game. I haven't locked it in yet because I'm just a little bit nervous. in terms of he's just hit it so consistently is Kucherov shots. Like, he's had 8, 5, 5, 5 his last 4 games with 10, 13, 8, and 10 attempts. The one thing is, like, Montreal's relatively not very disciplined, and he's like the main. It's not Stamkos anymore. It's Kucherov who's shooting all the time on the power play. And then if you look at the last 4 the last 4 games for the Habs and who they've gone right wingers that they've gone up against, Marchessault had 5 when they played Arizona. Keller had 6 when they played St. Louis. Kyrou had 9, and even Kapanen had fucking 3. So I feel like that's definitely a good play there. It's like minus 120 is the one thing. It's like a little bit sketchy maybe, but it's still 3.5 is the line. So I feel like I'll probably be playing that here, even though he doesn't I think he's against Montreal. Yeah, against Montreal, hasn't really had a ton of success. He didn't go over once last year when he played Montreal, but I don't want to read into that too much because Montreal gives up, if you look at the last week and a half or 2 weeks, they've given up 37 shots a game or 36 shots a game. So what props do you have in this one?
Yeah, so I actually only have one prop in this game, and it kind of goes back to I think it's going to be a close game narrative. They've had 3 either OT or shootouts in the last 5. And in those 3, Suzuki has had 4, 4, and 5 shots. I think it's going to be a very similar game. His line on Prize Picks is 2 on the books. It was minus 180, 1.5, or plus money for 2.5. I really think he gets 3 or 4 again today. So I took him at 2 even on Prize Picks. And then I straight bet him 3 plus for plus 134, I think it was on the books. So
okay.
I like Suzuki today.
I like that. I like that a lot. Just looking at some of the questions, someone has a Canes, Avs, Ducks plus 1.5 parlay. Well, it seems good. It seems relatively surgical. I like that. Yeah, I know, Vital. A lot of people on Kucherov tonight, definitely for sure. But I mean, in NHL, last night Matthews hit, McDavid didn't, got a shot taken away for whatever fucking reason. But whatever.
There was a lot of shots being taken away from what I saw last night, at least on Twitter. I mean, I had Point last night, and apparently he had 4 and had 2 taken away. I was watching almost the whole game, and I saw him hit multiple crossbars, so that could have been. But I don't know if he actually got it. But I mean, I had a 5-legger yesterday that lost by half a shot from Braden Point, literally, which sucks. But
I did see that. That is a heartbreaker. But I feel also like Twitter for that kind of stuff, the people who even bet on shot props don't even necessarily know what actually counts for a shot on goal, right? You see them, people bitch all the fucking time.
So bad, dude. I see people don't understand that it's also a judgment call if the puck's going to go in the net or not. So if the puck's clearly going far wide and the goalie skates out of the net, catches it with his glove, they still don't count it as a shot on net. Post doesn't count as a shot on net. Crossbar doesn't count. People don't really understand that still. So sometimes I just see it on Twitter and laugh, and I'm like, you didn't play hockey growing up.
Yeah, exactly. There was one, McDavid had one clear shot in the first period, and then there was one where he backhanded it from almost below the goal line, backhand. He wasn't even looking at the net, and he went and Demko just covered it, and they covered it. They counted as a shot. And in my head, I'm like, that's definitely a shot they're gonna take off because it just did not look like one. But I have another 1.5 that we'll talk about in one of the later games that I really like that I've been looking for a parlay piece for, and I might use Suzuki if you think that's the case, because Tampa too, both of these teams give up a lot of shots. Tampa over the last 2 years has not been as good defensively. I think Vasilevsky just makes them look a lot better, and apparently Jonas Johansson in certain these games this year has made them look pretty good too. So
yeah, but Tompkins,
Tompkins definitely not as good.
I don't think he's the guy.
No.
So
I also got Hagel anytime goal scorer too. He's playing on that first line. It's plus 250. I was taking a look at that today. He's had pretty good numbers against Montreal throughout the course of his career, especially since he's been on Tampa. I think he's almost at a goal per game, but he also had a hat trick in one of those games. So I wouldn't totally not a for sure play for me, but just something kind of to note if you're looking for goal scorers. We talked Prize Picks Guru. We talked about Cooch already. I like Cooch. Fruity likes Suzuki in this game for a prop. Okay, Is anything else for this game? No. Okay.
Nope, not for me.
All right. The next game, the Red Wings and the Rangers. I also thought this was kind of a tough game too. Quick starting for the Rangers here. It seems like Igor is actually hurt right now because they have Domingue, I think, is backing up Quick tonight.
Yeah, Igor's been out 2 games now, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe just one or two.
I don't know. Did he get hurt in that Wild game? I bet on the Wild, but after I saw they're down 3-0. I'm like, this game's over. But they lost.
Yeah. So I don't I think it was after the game. I think he finished the game, and then it was because last game versus Minnesota was the first one I actually saw him physically out for.
Okay.
So I believe he finished the Canes. I believe he finished that game because I won 2-1, and then I think it was some injury that maybe happened during the game, but he was ruled out for the next one.
Okay.
So
yeah, Vital Hagel to get a point is probably smarter playing on that first line as well now. They moved that French kid off of it that was playing with Kucherov in point. Okay, yeah. So the Red Wings and the Rangers, the leans here, I don't have anything bet necessarily in this one in terms of a side or a total, but I feel like I've seen a lot of people on the Wings. I still don't totally sold on this team since their win streak. I don't think they've been that sure they just beat Boston 5-4. But I don't feel like you can really play a game like that against this Rangers team. I think they're much better defensively than they were last year, thanks to Peter Laviolette. They have really solid defensemen, a really solid top six. I do like the under in this one, to be honest, even with Quick in net. But I haven't bet anything necessarily in this game yet. What do you think here, Fruity?
yeah, we definitely disagree on this one.
Okay.
First of all, obviously Rangers couple key injuries with obviously Fox, Gaudreau, and Hedel. Hedel's also out. Last game, I think it showed for them. They put up less than 20 shots against the Wild, and I mean still put up 4 goals. So they were obviously firing, but I think that is to Gustafsson just being horrible this year. That might be the biggest downgrade from one season to the next we've seen so far this year. With that being said, I think those injuries affect them as the first time. They kind of ran out of depth. They didn't really know what they were doing. This game, I see them recovering a little bit. The Wings let up a lot of shots. Husso, I don't really think. I think Reimer's been way better than Husso in my opinion. So I see the Rangers putting in quite a few goals here. The second leg of the 33 is actually the over 6 in this game. So I got it -112 at 6 even. But with that being said, I do think that the Wings right now are kind of firing on all cylinders. They just put in 5 to arguably the best goalie in the league against Boston, and they put up 35 to 40 shots. They go around and rip. The Rangers just let up 40 plus to the Wild. I think the Wings will be firing as well, especially with those adjustments on D that they still have to do. And Quick, he's had a couple good games in my opinion, but I mean it's his stats. When you look at his stats, I think they're also tainted a bit because they count. Obviously, he had a 9 save shutout during the Preds game when he came in halfway through the game. They played the Kraken where they had let 15 shots and he let in 1 goal, and then he had a shutout against the Oilers, who are the second worst team in the league. So I mean, when they played the Wild, who are arguably the only real team he's played against, he let in 5. So or he let in 4. With an empty net. So I think that the Wings will have no issue scoring at least 2 or 3 tonight. I actually think the Rangers probably win this game. I don't like everyone that's on the underdog for them today. The Rangers at home are pretty good, and I think they'll figure it out after already having 1 game without Fox. I think they need to adjust. But with that being said, the Wings are definitely going to score. So I like the over 6 in my opinion. But
Yeah, like I said, I don't have anything confirmed. It's probably a good thing you're Johnny's on the under, and he's on his lines at lunch card today, and he hit his 2 soccer picks today. So I haven't seen him go 3-0 on the show too many times since he started working here. So that's probably pretty good fortune for you. Just looking at some of the things too, the Rangers 5-on-5 in terms of scoring, I feel like it's still not there yet, and maybe missing those guys doesn't help. But the Red Wings take a lot of penalties as well, and the Rangers power play has started to get going too. So I feel like that's pretty good. Vital, honestly, don't love Panarin's shots tonight. I don't know. We talk about props in a bit here. I'm on 1 prop in this game. I haven't locked it in yet, but it's actually
I'm also on 1.
It's an under. I'm on Daniel Sprong under shots.
Interesting. Yeah,
Funny,
that's
like I think,
someone I haven't touched this season. So
yeah, he's hit this 5 straight games, and he seems like to be, but he's playing on that third line with Veleno and Fabry. I feel like I guess he's been more of a trigger man on that line, but a lot of his shots have come on the power play as well. The Rangers don't take too many penalties, or they're like bottom 7 in the league or 8 in terms of amount of penalties taken this year. And the Rangers have given up the second fewest shots to right wingers. They're not allowing like a ton of shots 5-on-5 wise. They just if they give up, they just got to stay out of the box, because that's kind of where they've ran into some trouble. If you look at like the Wild game last on Saturday as well. So he's gone over this 5 straight games. I feel like he's due for some regression here. I'm going to take the under 2.5 at -120. I feel like that's a pretty good play. What prop are you on in this one?
So for a very similar reason that the Rangers actually don't take too many penalties, I'm on DeBrincat today, who leads the league, or not leads the league, leads the team in shots, but also a majority of those shots are actually on 5-on-5. Larkin and Kopp seem to be the guys on the power play who kind of rip the puck. And DeBrincat, obviously, he's in that kind of Ovechkin spot on the power play, but he always seems to kind of move it across the slot for some sort of tip in, etc. But 5-on-5, I mean, even on 2-on-1s, he doesn't look to pass. He fake looks to pass, rips the puck. He shoots from the corner. He's had 5-and-5 the last 2 games. It's at 3 flat on Prize Picks. This is probably my favorite prop today, actually, especially with seeing how the Rangers played the one singular game they haven't had Fox. They let up 40 SOGs to the Wild. I think that the Red Wings offense is definitely younger and faster, not a bit more energy than the Wild's offense. And I think that they're going to hit probably between 35 and 40 shots tonight. And I mean, realistically, if they're putting up over 30, DeBrincat should have 4 or 5 with ease. So
Yeah, Larkin's like kind of hurt too, right? Isn't he?
He was day to day. I believe he's going to play,
Yeah.
but if you look at like game splits where because his line was also at 3 even. If you look at the games where he has 4, 5, 6 shots, half of them come on power plays. So, and this Rangers team really doesn't take a lot of them. So
Yeah, if you look at literally, I'm looking at their last 4 games, and the guys who lead their team in shots is Sprong and DeBrincat. They both have 11 each. But
yeah.
I just think, I think if you look at like the matchups too, like that first line that the Rangers play is like very offensive. Sprong's on that third line, and he's playing against like Blake Wheeler and like Trocheck. I think that's a much harder matchup than those ones. So I kind of like your reasoning there, and it seems like I agree. If you're watching those Red Wings games, DeBrincat is definitely the one flying down the wing and getting the puck on net on that first line too. Like it's certainly not Lucas Raymond. I feel like that guy's like afraid of shooting. He just pass first kind of player. So
his line's been like 1.5 the whole season, and he barely hits it.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, he's always been a pass first player. I mean, that line's great. It's still, I think, one of the best lines. It's been one of the best lines in the NHL this year. So, yeah. So I think the consensus there, at least for Fruity, for sure, the over in that one. I would stay away from a money line side in this one. It's just the injuries to the Rangers, quick starting, and then the Red Wings like kind of being very inconsistent since that big win streak that they snapped off at the beginning of the year. I just don't think it's worth it. There's so many different games tonight that you can bet on. So, and then Sprong under shots and Fruity on the DeBrincat over shots. Okay, this next one, the Wild and the Islanders, and we both talked about it quickly before. We're on different sides for the money line. Wild was like the bet I was looking at yesterday because I saw that Varlamov was going to start, and I just think like he's been playing unreal. I think he might have 2 shutouts already, or 1 shutout and then 1 game where he maybe let in 1. But he's been awesome this year. One of the stats like I look at a lot is goals saved above expected, and he's over the last 2 weeks he's second in the NHL in that stat. So I just feel like he's a great goalie. I just feel like he's due for like a little bit of a worse game here, and I think the Wild might have figured something out a little bit against this Rangers team in their last game. They switched around the lines a little bit. Like I love that Marco Rossi's playing in the center of that first line with Kaprizov and Matt Boldy, because I think it just gives them more depth all the way down. Now you have Hartman as your second line center, and then you have Eriksson Ek as your third line center too. Now, I think that's a pretty good like top three in terms of centers. Scoring 5 goals against the Rangers. Fox is out. Quick was in net. Like maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I still think this Wild offense has it. They just haven't really been able to put it together for a full 60 minutes. And this Islanders team, like, they give up a lot of shots. If you look at their last 4 games, their expected goals against is second worst in the NHL, only behind Ottawa. I know they get Scott Mayfield back tonight, and I think Adam Pelech is also going to play. I saw that he was day-to-day. It doesn't seem like Horvat will play. But this line, I got the Wild money line this morning at plus 110, and now it's like minus 110 on either side. So that's kind of why I like the Wild tonight. I think they're just maybe I think they're gonna find some wins here as they go on this road trip. But curious to hear your opinion on this game, Fruity.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too confident in a side either way. I do think the Wild looked really good in their last game, but the Rangers are also just a hit or miss team for me. So I will say Varlamov is probably due for a little bit of regression. He's had 2 shutouts the last 2 games, but those were against the Caps and the Jackets, who are arguably 2 of the worst goal scoring teams in the league this year. But with that being said, I don't think he's going to go out there and let up 4. So I'm definitely looking at the under in this game. I think that this Wild team plays a lot more confident with Fleury in net also. Like, he came in after the first 5 minutes of the last game and I think he let in 1, but goal, I mean, again, he played a full 3 periods almost and only let in 1 goal to a team that's scoring a lot of goals. And so I think they play a little bit more confident in front of him, and I could see this being like a 2-1, 3-2 game either way, to be honest. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, Islanders unders too have like been a thing. Well, since like Sorokin has been there, and
Sorokin
and Varlamov as well. Though, like, Varlamov's been good pretty much wherever he's been, in Colorado, Washington. Like, he's been good. So yeah, I mean, the under seems like, and you got it at 6.5, right?
I got it at 6.5 this morning. So right before we were about to come on, I actually sent my brother a FanDuel thing for him to place a bet, and I saw it on there. It was 5.5 now. It was plus money, but it went fully down. So I wouldn't touch 5.5 if you can get 6 or 6.5. I mean, even 6.5 was still like minus 140, so it's not like it's like minus 200. It wasn't crazy juiced, but I would take those 2. I would not take 5.5 just because you never know. A 3-2 with an empty net, push at 6, but that's definitely what I would say.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like that. And yeah, I think this Islanders team is just not as I don't know if it's not defensively minded or what it is, but they're giving up a lot more scoring opportunities. And I think you kind of saw they kind of can just break down. Like, obviously you play a team like Carolina and you have a 3-goal lead. You'd think you'd be able to hold it, but they allowed them right back in the game, and then they ended up losing that one. I feel like the Wild can get something going here, so definitely like the Wild in this one, even at the price it is now. The audio is fucked apparently. Okay, nice. Good.
Yeah, it's
what? No, this is a good mic, so I don't know.
I can hear you fine right now, to be honest.
Just turn it up here. Just the black one. Okay. So the one player prop I love in this game, and I'm so fucking pissed because at one book I saw it at 2.5 at plus 160, and then they changed it right before I bet down to 1.5 to minus 190, and it's Marco Rossi over shots. Since he's been on this first line, he's been absolutely crushing it. And he's been shooting a ton. If you look at their last 3 games, he leads the team in shots. He leads the team in Corsi. Even on the power play as well, he's playing on the point next to Kalen Addison and left with these other guys. So, yeah, I really like Rossi here. I think the Islanders, like I said, have been giving up, like, look at the last 4 games. Just on 5-on-5, they're allowing up to 40 shots per game. Now, they did play Carolina in one of those games, so that might be one of the reasons why. But still, I think we've seen, like, a common theme throughout the year. So I would take Rossi at 2.5. I like it at 1.5, but that was a parlay piece that I was talking about before. That kind of, I needed one other leg, and I think it might be with Suzuki.
I might have to throw that in something. I don't have any props in this game, so definitely put that in something at least. Yeah, I doubt it's on Prize Picks, so I'll have to cook up a booklet for props.
Yeah, but you don't think they'd have Rossi yet?
I haven't. I mean, I pretty much live on that app, and I don't think I've seen him one time this whole season in any aspect.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. If
yeah, they
you
don't have anything for him.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. If you look at their the last couple games they've played against the centers, Kopp hit his line, Strome hit his line, Kuznetsov had 4, Aho had 5 last game. Even Jordan Stahl hit his line. Seth Jarvis hit his line. Like there's just like a ton of guys. So and he's had last 4 games. He's had 6 attempts, 4 attempts, 4 attempts, and then 7 against the Rangers in that last one. And he scored in that game too. He's been playing really well. So I don't think Dean Evason's going to change that line at all, or any try to tell him to change anything at all. So
Yeah.
love Rossi tonight. And you have no other props in this one.
No, I didn't take any props in this game. I always honestly shy away from Islanders games because one, they block a lot of shots, and it always screws whoever if I'm betting against them. And two, the Islanders are very similar to me than the Canes. Is you really never know who's going to rip on that team for me, especially with Horvat. If he doesn't play, obviously people are going to want to take the bigger guys there, but I feel like teams normally make game plans to play around stopping those players when they do have a big guy out. So it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to judge those, and I don't like doing toss-ups, especially with props. So
Yeah, no, if that's fair. Yeah, Horvat is not in like the confirmed. He's not in the confirmed lineup. I'm seeing right
yeah,
now.
I
So
see he's still day to day,
yeah,
but I mean, those are always they normally go out and skate for warm-ups and then decide.
I
So it's like
I think so. Yeah, but
it's
I don't think he practiced yesterday when I saw the Varlamov thing. So, but I mean, we'll see. It doesn't move the needle for me. I'm still playing the wild money line regardless if Horvat plays or not. But yeah,
yeah. I have Rossi at 2.5 plus 114
plus
or
114 now.
1.5. 1.5 is minus 385.
What is that on FanDuel?
No, that's on my
That's it.
offshore.
Okay, yeah.
385
That's crazy.
or
2.5, like
yeah.
2.5. I was gonna play it at plus 140 and higher. I don't know if it's worth it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, this next game, the Jets and the Blues. So I have the Jets money line. I've bet already. I don't know if you saw this. This is more of like a narrative thing, but Pionk, was like best friends with that Adam Johnson guy that died, and him and like 5 of the guys on the team chartered a plane after their game on Saturday, went to the funeral. Neil Pionk spoke at the funeral, and then they came back. So I'm looking at that kind of narrative here. I feel like the Jets have been playing pretty well too, but that's just an extra added incentive for me to play the Jets here. And I also think the Blues, sure, they just won back-to-back games, but they beat a Devils team that's power play like needed to cool down, and the Blues don't take a ton of penalties. So the Blues won that game, and then they beat Montreal. They kind of just really took it to them in that game, and I feel like going up against this Jets team, much different. The team that really controls the pace of the game with a much better goalie than the last 2 I would play, because they played against Schmid, and I don't even know if Allen played against the Blues or not. I feel like
I think Montembeau played both.
okay.
I don't know why.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. Blues top 6 have done nothing. Like Kevin Hayes had the best game of his last probably 6 months against that Devils team. Scored 2 goals, was just flying all over the place. I like the Jets here. I like the Jets money line minus 140. I don't have any props, but that's my play in this one.
Yeah, Jets money line for me as well. That was actually going to be in my lay, and I just honestly thought I was overthinking it because I've initially liked the over in that Rangers Wings game way more, so I swapped it back, and I was like, but I had definitely straight bet it. I actually sprinkled the minus 1.5, just because the Blues coach loves to pull their goalie early. So I think that they're going to have a lot more time to possibly score an empty netter if they're up by 1 going into the last 3 minutes of the game. So
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, I like the same thing. I would lean the under as well, but both these teams score in like random spurts, so I might just completely stay off that. It kind of scares me.
The Blues, like in terms of like the analytics I look at, they create like the pretty much the lowest amount of offense in 5-on, like lower than the Sharks. So I really like the Jets here. I feel like their offense can totally overpower them. I feel like the Blues Does Hellebuck have a shutout yet?
I don't
I don't think
so.
so. I feel like this
I
might
don't
be a
think so.
shutout game for Hellebuck. I might play that. The last time we were on, or one of the, I don't know if it was the first
He
game we were on.
I also think he's underperforming. I mean, his goals against is over a 3 right now, and his save percentage is under 900. So I think he's a way better goalie than that, and he's got to have good games against these shitty offensive teams. I think so.
And are they? Oh, they're on the road, but still, yeah. I still like the Jets, and the unders moved, or the totals moved to 5.5 as well. So
Did it? I had it at 6 when I liked it. So
yeah. So I like the Blues here 100%. The Jets, excuse me. The Jets 100%. And I haven't really looked at it. Like, the Blues give up a decent amount of shots as well. I was going to look at some shot props in this one, but I just didn't really have the time to. But, no other props for me in this one.
yeah, I didn't take any props in this game. I have quite a few in these last couple games,
Me
but
too.
the next probably 3 that you're about to talk about, I don't think I have any. So
okay.
We'll see.
Okay, Predators and Flames. Our favorite team, the Calgary Flames. So I saw the Predators are like 7-2-1 their last 10 games against the Flames. Obviously, the Flames just beat the Kraken, lost the Stars the game before. Like they're always the sharp side. I would say the Flames are. I'm not taking them here, but there is one play I like in this game. Would love to get your thoughts on it. I'm taking Saros over saves. Thoughts?
Flames at home fire the fucking puck, dude.
Yeah.
They fire the puck. I love that. So
if you look at their last one sec, I just had it up before. Like his Saros' last 4 game or last year versus Calgary, 38 and 42 saves.
yeah, I mean their last game at home against the Star, I think they put up 50. I think they genuinely put up a 50 piece, so or just under.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember seeing that, but they're definitely gonna get the shots. I actually took the Preds here, and I took the over 5.5. I'm sorry, the fact that I know how many times Flames overs have burned me, but I took them versus the Kraken, went to fucking 9. I'm taking Preds money line, and I'm taking the over 5.5 over 6, either one. I definitely think that the Flames are going to put up 40 shots and score 2, but the fact that it's a 5.5, I definitely think the Preds can easily put in 4 on Markstrom. He's been abysmal, so I like that a lot.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Yeah, I didn't end up taking a side or a total here, but I saw Saros' saves, and if you look at his last his last 3 away games, he's 28 saves, 23 saves, 27 saves, and they haven't really played teams that Seattle, the Rangers, and Boston. So I feel like those aren't teams that shoot nearly as much as Calgary. So I think this is a good time to take the over, and Saros over saves, and then Preds money line and over 5.5. You heard it right there. Zari's been pretty good. He's been sick. I like that guy. He's been cool. Kadri's
his first game he was nasty. Last game I think he had 0 SOGs and everyone was all over him. But
it's classic.
He definitely brings the energy. And for I'm pretty sure he's kind of a small guy. He weirdly hits a lot of people. He was throwing the fucking body against the Kraken. I think he easily had to have had 2 or 3 hits. And it was kind of funny to watch. So
okay.
But yeah, he does have a lot of energy. That's what Calgary needs.
Yes.
They
need to not be so fucking flat all the time. That's just what they are. They just skate in, shoot, and then the team breaks it out, goes down, they get the puck back, go down, shoot a couple more. It's just
a sad locker room, probably. I mean, and Kadri's been dog shit. Kadri's been horrible. So
yeah, he's not been good this year.
They got to figure it out. But I don't know. The Preds always let in 2 or 3 goals, even the games they win. Saros has been solid, but he's not. I mean, he hasn't been God sometimes we saw last year. So I think the Flames realistically score 2 or 3. The Jets score 3 or 4, or not the Jets, or the Preds score 3 or 4, and I think they win that game.
Yeah, so. The Preds that first line, and even the Novak Tomasino line has been good. So I like that.
O'Reilly's been the best player on that team by far.
Him and Forsberg too. I know he hasn't maybe shown it in terms of scoring goals. But he's I thought every time I watch the Preds play, he stands out. The two of them stand out the most for sure. What's up, Lockmouth?
Yeah,
Okay,
and I would have guessed that O'Reilly would be the one assisting
I
Forsberg if you
know.
asked me to start the season, and now Forsberg's the one assisting O'Reilly.
Yeah,
So
very interesting.
pretty funny.
Okay, Kraken and the Yotes. So this line's moved down a little bit towards the Yotes. This is pretty much a pick 'em as well. I have nothing in this game, to be honest. The Coyotes right now are like win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. They're scoring a shit ton, and they're creating a decent amount of offense, like all the way down their lineup. It seems like their top line actually hasn't been doing as much as what we've seen. Like Lawson Krause had like 4 fucking goals last week. Michael Charcone had a hat trick when they played Chicago and like been like good on the second power play. So just like a really weird team, and obviously Seattle. They just don't do anything anymore. Like they can't score. I know they against the Kraken or against the Flames they scored a couple, but before other games than that, they're 5-on-5. Doesn't instill like a ton of confidence in me to like play either a total here or Coyotes or Kraken. So you could take the reins on this one. Do you have anything in this game?
Yeah. So if I looked at a game last year that had Joey Daccord versus Connor Ingram, I would ladder it to over 11. This year, honestly, I think the under might be the move in this game. Both of them have been awesome. One of these two teams, I mean, it's going to be a 3-2, 4-2 win either way. I would lean the Yotes just because, one, they're at home. Ingram's been playing a little bit better, and the Yotes been scoring a lot more. So I think both team totals are at like 2.5. So they definitely think it's going to be a closer game. But I will say, for whatever reason, this Yotes team seems to put it together in spurts, and I think they've been having closer games. I know they just got beat by the Jets, but I mean they beat the Habs and then had some close games before that and absolutely pounded the Blackhawks. So I think they're going to take advantage of the Kraken's kind of weaknesses on their depth and score some goals there. So I would lean the Yotes. I like the under a little bit better, but again, this might be the sketchiest game on the whole slate for me today. Besides Flyers Sharks, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any
know.
props in this game?
No, I didn't really take anything in this game.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
the last few games I have quite a few props, but
Okay.
this one I kind of stayed away. So
Perfect. All right, Devils and the Avalanche. It was the first thing I texted you this morning. I was like, Avalanche is a nuke piece. Like they just had lost to Vegas 7-0. It was the mom's trip. Now they come back home, play a Devils team without Nico Hischier, without Jack Hughes. If you look at, like, I had a tweet before, Georgiev has been playing like so fucking terrible, and I just don't think it's going to continue. Like, I still think he's pretty good, and especially in front of this defense. Like, they have a very solid top six, obviously, on that back end. And looking at Colorado's offense, they've still been creating a lot of offense. They just have not been able to put the puck in the back of the net for whatever reason. So, because if you look at that Vegas game, they outshot them, they outchanced them. It's just a little bit strange. So, I have Avalanche in reg. I have Avalanche -1.5. Do you see the same thing here?
yep, I see the same thing. I have Avalanche -1.5 in reg. I have money line in the last leg of the 33. So I'm heavily reliant on them tonight. I damn near am gonna hang it up if they lose this fucking game. I know we've been on them quite a few times in the last 4 games, and they gotten shut out 3 of them. I will say those 3 games, what do they have in common? They were on the road. They're undefeated at home still. So I believe they're 3-0 at home, and in those games, I mean, they're peppering shots, scoring a lot of goals. They think they scored 4, 4, and 6 in their 3 games at home. So I think that I think they'll score. I have the score prediction at 5-3 tonight. I don't think the Devils are completely dead without those 2 guys, but at the end of the day, I do think that the Avs will kind of overpower them here with shots on goal and scoring 4 or 5, which I don't think the Devils can kind of recover and score that much, especially without their 2 main guys out there, as well as they've been getting pretty lucky on power play goals and have definitely been overscoring what they should be. So I think they scored 2 or 3. I think the Avs score 4 or 5. Totals also set at exactly 6, not even 6.5 yet. So I like it over 6. I like the Avs -1.5. Those are two bets for me tonight for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then I also saw the Devils are like 2-9-1 their last 12 games in Colorado. So another good trend there to kind of follow.
Yeah.
Do you have any props in this one?
Yep. So I like Vanacek saves. Actually, it's a 28.5. The Avs have been teetering on that line at home, but I also think they've just been leading so much in those games that they kind of have taken the foot off the gas. But the fact that they've been shut out in 3 of the last 4, I think they just got to keep their foot on the gas the whole game. This game, they're averaging like 35 shots a game. The Devils have been letting up a lot more in their last few games, so I really like that one. And then I took Rantanen and McKinnon both actually on their SOGs tonight. So 3.5 for Rantanen and 4.5 for McKinnon. So I think they're just going to be integral pieces. They're going to get a lot of playing time. This is a win they need to get. And I think they're just going to kind of be rolling through it. So I normally stay away from defensive props when playing against the Devils. They seem to not let up a lot of shots to defensemen, and then their defensemen shoot a lot actually. So and then it's Timo Tuesday. So
It's Timo Tuesday. We're going back to Timo Tuesday.
it's Timo Tuesday.
Okay. I guess with these two, I mean, who else is going to fucking shoot if Heischer and Hughes are out? Like Dougie Hamilton,
Foley.
Bratt, Foley, I guess. That's a good point.
Yeah. But everyone the last 2 games has said, oh, it's Bratt now. It's Bratt now. And I've just been taking Timo, and Brad hasn't hit, and Timo's hit both times. So I'm gonna stay on that train.
Okay. Yep. I like that thought there. Fuck, there was one other thing I needed to say. I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. Okay, let's go to the next game. 2 more games to go through. What's up, Data? The Penguins and the Ducks. So obviously these 2 teams have played before. Carlson. It was a good game. Gibson got hurt in this one. Dostal came in, played a pretty solid game. The Penguins had a shit ton of shots, and then Carlson gave the puck away on a power play. McTavish came out of the box, scored with 11 seconds left. I have the Penguins 3-way here. I just feel like obviously the Ducks have won 6 or 7 in a row now.
6 in a row, yeah.
6 in a row, and their last 4 games they've been outshot is the one thing I've kind of noticed. And not to take away from them because they did play a solid game against Vegas, but I feel like Vegas, after that 7-0 win, they scored 2 goals. Obviously, they're going into the third up 2-0, and then lost 4-2. Like, they just honestly have just been gritty. Like, they've been scrappy, very pesky team to play against right now. Scoring on, I wouldn't say their shooting percentage is like crazy high because they still are getting like a decent amount of shots. But overall, I feel like their power play has been really good recently, too. They've scored, I think, 4 power play goals their last 3 games. So I feel like the Pens maybe get them here. It's a lot of offense to kind of withstand in terms of like the shots they take. I think they're taking the 3rd or 4th most shots per game. Gibson's confirmed, so I like that a little bit more. So I have Pens 3-way. Gibson over saves, too. It's 30.5. I feel like they can definitely get that number. And then Malkin just scores every time he plays Anaheim. I feel like that's also a play I'm gonna look at here. So I'm pretty much all Pens here. I know you probably have a different look at this one, but what are you on in this game?
All right, everyone's been fading me the last 6 games, and they've been in the dirt. So
I haven't
we'll
faded
keep
the
the
Ducks
train
that
rolling.
many
I
times
will
this
say,
series.
some non-biased info for you. I don't think that everyone is very, very high on just nuking all these different Penguin shots and all this stuff. Obviously, the Ducks let up a lot of shots, not as many as they did last year, but the lines are really inflated, especially for this because last game the Penguins had 40 something. They had 9 power plays and 3 5-on-3s, so that accounted for a ton of that, and I don't think it's gonna be the same. So. But also, Jenny Liz, I had the Bruins 3-1 and they lost to the Wings. So RIP. But But I do think that Crosby gets his tonight. Um, that's a guy that he always rips against. So I'm on Crosby and Raquel. Obviously, you guys have all heard the Raquel narrative a million times. He used to play for the Ducks. He rips every single time. Had him laddered. I had him laddered to 5+ last game. He had 6, so Raquel's gonna be ripping. But Crosby had 11 on us last time with 4 missed nets. That definitely had a little bit to do with all the 5-on-3s. But the Ducks still take penalties, a lot of stupid penalties, and Crosby rips on the power play. So I really like Crosby today. And then I'm actually taking Zegras today. Everyone's been on Vetrano, Terry, McTavish. Zegras has been a pass first guy recently, but there's been a lot of stuff in the media the last few days of him focusing more on his defensive game. I don't know if you know this. He's the only player on the Ducks that is negative plus minus.
Really?
Yeah. And that was made aware to him this week. And he was talking about how he needs to just focus on kind of shooting more. I think he's had a lot of good opportunities that the goals will start falling. So I think the fact that his line's at 1.5/2 on Prize Picks is too low for him. I really think he's going to fire the puck today a little bit. So.
All right. Yep. I like that. Okay.
And obviously I'm taking Ducks money line and the over. So.
Okay. Yeah, the over for sure. I would say in this one, like as much as Pittsburgh, they have a big offense and just like create a lot of volume. They also allow a lot of volume. I will say that for sure. So that's maybe a good thing if you are looking to bet the Ducks. But yeah, that's fine. I mean, I was figured you'd be on the Ducks going onto the show, so I don't blame you. You can't go against them now. Got to ride the hot hand while you can. So
been on them every game. So
yeah, but I like Gibson saves too because I feel like I don't know if it's the numbers at 30.5 because of what you said last game. Well, obviously it was Dostal in net, but with how many power plays they had, and if you look at their last, like even at San Jose, Pittsburgh had 4 power plays. But if you look at his game log this year, he's only gone over 30.5 saves one time, and it was his first start against Vegas where he had 34 saves. I just feel like this is one game will allow a decent amount, and if you look at their last. I mean, yeah, if you look at the Penguins' last 6 games, they've had 35 shots, 42, 43, 29, 39, and 33. So I feel like against this Ducks team, they had a bad way to lose it the last game too, the last way they played. So I like Gibson saves.
Well,
and
aren't they first in the league in shots on goal,
I
the
believe
Penguins?
so.
I think they are.
Yeah.
They're either first or second. They're averaging like 35, 36.
They've been getting a lot of power plays.
Ridiculous.
I think that's obviously one of the reasons why, but I agree. Yeah, it is nuts. Big number.
Yeah. I mean, the Ducks do take a lot of penalties. So, but I do think watching last game, I mean, we had the goal called back, and then obviously Cronin got fined and thrown out, and all those 5-on-3s. I don't think it'll be that bad today, but they definitely will have like 4 or 5 power play opportunities, which is why I'm mainly focusing on Crosby there.
Okay.
So
Nice. All right, last game of the night. biggest game of the night. Flyers and the fucking Sharks. Sharks are 1 loss away from having the worst start in NHL history. They've lost their first 11 games. The only other team to do that was the Rangers in 1943. So the record before that, or the closest team to that, was the Coyotes back when they were in Phoenix, or were still the Phoenix Coyotes. So I obviously have the Sharks today, of course. Biggest Sharks fan there is on Twitter. I got them at plus 167 this morning. I mean, it's just like, how bad can you continue? Duclair was like, I saw a beat reporter was like, oh, so you happy? Like, monkey off your back, you got your first goal. He was like, no, we let in 20 goals the last 2 games. It's like, how much worse can it get at this point? So, and I feel like the Flyers have been good this year too. The Flyers have been great. Very surprising of like how solid this team has played. I think they're a pretty hard team to play against the way Tortorella coaches. But if they're going to be one team they lose to, or beat, I feel like the Sharks could get it here. So I took the Sharks, and I don't know if this is maybe just my stupid brain looking at it from a contrarian angle, but Urson over saves is 24.5. Like, if they're going to win, if I think they're going to win, they're probably going to have more than 25 shots or on goal. So we'll see. But yeah, those are my 2 plays in this game.
Yeah. So if you put $1,000 on Sharks, well, the other team -1.5 this season, you'd be up $8,683.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go with the Flyers -1.5 and keep the ball rolling there.
All right,
So
that's fair.
no analysis, just fading a team that's let in 20 goals in 2 games, and keep going.
That's
So I've
that's
done it
what,
every single game this
that's what we
season.
call the eye
Uh,
test. That's what we
yep,
call the eye test. Yeah, I know it's crazy that their only point is against the Avs when Mackenzie Blackwood had 55 saves or whatever it was.
yep. No, I actually um hit up a different bookie, got on a different book, and that is the only bets I've placed on that book the whole season,
That's
just
smart.
to keep track of the exact amount. I put $1,000 on the other puck line every game so far.
That works.
Up 8,600 right now. So I'm just gonna keep going with that.
All right.
So I've definitely leaned Sharks +1.5 some of the games. I put it out there.
I
I've
saw
said
that. Yeah,
that.
I've seen that.
I'm gonna do it the whole season just to see what that number ends up at because I definitely think I'll be in the green. With that being said, the last time I leaned Sharks +1.5, they lost 10-1. So I will not be doing that for this foreseeable future. I just need to see. I need to see them get back and be an NHL team and not a Pee Wee B team.
They
So
are playing like a PWB team right now, but
yep,
I
yep.
feel like
I had more goals in my men's league game last night than they've had in the last 2 weeks. So yeah,
that's yeah, they've only scored more than 2 goals. Yeah, I made a fucking video on how shit this team is. Yet I can still continue. I have to continue betting them because I started
I know.
betting them. It's the kind of same as you. Like I was betting the -1, the other team -1.5 at the beginning of the season. But once they started to get to like 7 losses, 8 losses, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start. Like I had them +1.5 when they played the Capitals and blew their 1-0 lead in the third and lost 3-1. That was heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. Then I took a
Yep.
break and then I was like, oh, they're playing the Canucks. This team's due for a loss. Nope. And then they played the Penguins and I was like, okay, I don't think they're gonna win this game, but I have to. And I put a little bit on it, but I'm putting a full unit on the Sharks today. Full unit on +167. Fuck it. Whatever. Yeah, Sharks are so due. Due is fucking Miro Heiskanen shots on goal. And that hit yesterday, so maybe it's just the week for these teams. I also think like you don't want to be the team that has officially the most losses to start a season in the NHL. So if they lose this one, then maybe I'll stop betting them, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. So and I'm
Whatever, man. You've
I'm
made enough money betting on them. Let me have this one.
yeah, go for it. That's fine by me. It's not a check mark. It's not like I'm not giving it out. I'm just
Yeah.
I can't write down Sharks anymore. I can't do it. I can't. So like I've done it 2 times and they've collectively lost by 17 goals in those 2 games that I gave it out. So I just can't do it. So
All right. Yeah, that's
whatever.
fair. That's fair. Okay. You want to whoa. Jesus. Cook up a quick 4-teamer before we leave.
Yep.
Okay, so I say let's do one prop each and then one
Okay.
total or money line like each, and we'll make a 4-teamer.
Uh,
So what do you want?
uh, either the Lightning over or the Avs for my side, and then Crosby shots for my prop for sure.
Wait, the Lightning over or what?
Either the Lightning over or Avs -1.5. One of those two.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know which way you're going with it. So if you want something in either of those games, I'll take the other one. I'm good with both.
I think I'm gonna go Carolina -1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Honestly, let's go with the total then. So we'll have a side and a total.
Okay.
That's fine.
Carolina -1.5. The over. Oh my god, the over 6.5 on FanDuel in that Tampa game. What did you get it at?
6.5
-120.
at open bets. -117.
Yeah, it's -140 on FanDuel now, so that's good.
Jesus.
And then you're going.
I mean, we can take the plus money Avs then if you don't want to take that
No,
juice.
it's okay. I don't care. And then, Crosby. Where are you, Crosby?
Crosby.
Shots.
He's at 3 even on Prize Picks. I if you want to take plus money 3.5, I don't care. 2.5. I guess we're doing a lay, so take the 2.5. I guess.
Yeah, -210, whatever, for 3.
Oh wait, what's his line at?
Well, if 4 shots, he's +122. like over 3.5 plus 122, but I'm fine. Like it doesn't need to be a super juice one. I was gonna put Rossi in for 1.5, and that's probably on.
Okay, then do Crosby at 2.5 then.
Yeah, we need to hit one of these.
Yeah, I gotta lock that one in right now.
Yeah, -2. Yeah, -230 for fucking Rossi over 1.5. But whatever, this is good. I like this play anyway. So Hurricanes -1.5 plus 100. Lightning Canadians over 6.5. Crosby over 2.5 shots. Rossi over 1.5 shots. That pays plus 620. Absolutely smash it. I know it's a 4-teamer and it's plus 620. Maybe those odds aren't great, but I really like that parlay. So, your notebook will be out, I'm assuming, after this, or is it already?
Yeah, I tweeted it out before the stream actually.
Okay.
So
if
it's on Twitter.
If you missed Gensel Connor connecting 10 for 100 goal scorers parlay, that's a pretty good one actually. I don't mind that. I like Connor.
Did you see the FanDuel lay that's like going around the hockey one that they're promoting?
What is it?
Dude, it's like every player on the Habs and the Bolts juice down. Kucherov 3+, Caulfield 3+, Stammer 3+, Point 3+, Gallagher 2+, Hedman 2+, Matheson 2+.
Oh
plus
my God.
plus 2,000 on an 8-leg. That's juice down.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh yeah.
Pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Plus
5,000 people have locked that in.
Is it plus 2150? Is that what it is?
2149. Yeah, that's one I see.
Yeah. I see it here too. Hedman 2 shots, Gallagher 2 shots, Matheson 2 shots, Point 3 shots,
so
Stamkos
funny.
3 shots, Kucherov 4 shots, Caulfield 4 shots. Don't take that.
That definitely hits, right?
Don't take that. I'm telling you right now. Take our lay. I haven't seen Marco Rossi on one of their popular parlays. There's a reason for that. Surely that will hit Supreme Fatty, exactly. So Fruity's plays will be on his Twitter. I'm sure you know where to find those if you're in this Twitch. My plays will be on my Twitter as well after this is done, and the parlay will be on the Lines at Lunch Twitter. But again, it's Canes -1.5, over 6.5 in the Lightning game, Crosby over 2.5 SOGs, and Marco Rossi over 1.5 SOGs on the Minnesota Wild, plus 620. All right, 11 games in the NHL today. Be sure to lock in your bets at FanDuel Canada, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for Lines at Lunch at 12 p.m. Eastern. See ya.